So welcome. We are going to be doing a little chair movement from the ground up. So make sure you're sitting forward enough on your chair, even if you need to put some padding behind you, that your feet are down on the floor and you can feel all of your feet on the floor. Now, perhaps you can't feel all of your feet, in which case take a peek. Make sure that your heel is not lifted up and your toes are also pressed down. So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to actively press our toes into the ground. Now you might notice when you do this that your toes want to curl. So this is my non-MS affected side, and these toes would like to stay flat, while these toes would like to curl up. So if you have some toes that would like to curl up, you can just lean forward if that works for you and press down on your toes that want to curl up and still try to get that action of kind of pressing down. Alternately, if you have something, I'm just going to go forward and grab a pair of socks I just took off, and I'm going to place them underneath my toes so they have something to push into, because these toes don't necessarily know where the hell they are or what they're doing. So now I can push down without curling my toes because I have something to sort of press down into, which is just the socks I was wearing. This can work with like a towel, just something that's not super thick. And then I'm just releasing my foot. So if I turn my foot to the side, the one that works better, you could see maybe that I'm looking for this part of my foot, right, like before my toes, to kind of lift up and my arch to get shorter. So I'm pressing down and releasing. Pressing down and releasing. Please do not zoom in to this video. I'm never going to have an OnlyFans account for my feet unless people want to see very weird feet that have dealt with MS over the course of time and also just aren't great feet. Press down and lift up. Now we want to keep that pressure in our toes, but just like if we had 50% pressure before, let's do 25. So half the pressure we had, and then you're just going to work on lifting your heel up and then lowering your heel back down. Now what might happen if you have spasticity in your calves, which I have on my left side, is that when you press down to lift up, you might feel like a little kind of a shake, which is something called clonus, which happens in spasticity. In that case, I'm going to ask you to switch the thing that has propped up your toes to prop up your heel so that your heel doesn't have to lower down as much. And if this degree of lowering down stops the shakes, that's perfect, but it might not, in which case you're just going to push your foot forward more so that when you lower your heel, it's basically we're changing the angle. Like if you think about your foot pushing down into something, it's like here's like a tight angle, like your heel is far back and you have this sharp angle. We're moving the angle further and further away so that we don't have the angle of your foot being as high, which sometimes when we have spasticity, more of the stretch that we put on the ankle joint kind of makes things act up. So from here, we're going to start doing some we'll keep doing a couple more of these heel raises now that hopefully we've found the place where it's working a little bit better. And then let's do it like on a slow 5 count. So we're going up, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then think about almost like you're pulling your heels back to you as you lower down. And what I mean by that is I'm always going to demonstrate on the good foot just because it's easier to see. If I'm just lowering my foot and lowering my heel down like that, what I'm trying to do instead is lower it slowly. So it's almost like I'm trying to draw this heel back. And if it works for you to bend over, you can also make karate chop hands and place them. So you have these 2 bones on the outside of your ankle. You can place them in front of those bones and kind of have the sense that you're pulling back as you're lowering down. You might find also that if you just draw your fingers like lightly against your skin as you're lowering down, that it helps them kind of lower down and back. You can also do like almost a little pull where you're trying to lower your heels down and back. And it's just to try to get some more motion in your ankles. And if you find that your ankle was shaking when you were lowering it before, what I want you to do is actually now start to scoot that foot back. So it's still got the heel lift, so it doesn't necessarily come into as much of a stretch. But if you were able to get your leg to lower without it, like doing that shake, which is called a clonic seizure. It's not really a seizure, it's a clonic spasm. Spasm is the correct word. That's what we want to do there. Okay, so we're going to take, you have the socks, you're going to lose the socks so your feet are more flat to the floor. But if your foot feels weird, you're going to just push it away from you a little bit. Now we're going to roll to the outside of our feet, which is called supinating your feet. So some of you might find you do this in your shoes where your ankle wants to roll out. So we're just going to roll our ankle out to the side and then coming back. Roll our ankle out to the side and coming back. So if you feel the pressure even in your feet right now, so it's like the inside of your foot, probably more the inside, like the ball of your foot on the inside, but not really your arch, because if you have an arch, it's probably not touching down. And the outside of your foot feel kind of even. We want to put the pressure into the outside of your feet. Now I'm actually leaning into my legs so I can feel that a little bit more. And then I'm going to release it. Rolling out and release it. So over the 20 some years I've had MS, I've always had spasticity in this leg, and it's kind of pulled it into internal rotation, and it's made this foot really like to dump into the other direction, which is called pronation. So we're going to do that too. But if you have one direction that your body always likes to go, I would say try the other direction as well. If you hear that, my dogs are losing it because people are cutting tree branches down and they disapprove of that. Okay, so now we're going to do, this was supination, and now we're going to do pronation, which is the reverse of that. So in pronation, you actually dump to the inside of your foot. So you might even feel like your pinky toe side wants to lift up. So it's basically moving your ankles and kind of just pushing it down, but try to do it without having your knees go together. Now, if you do pronate your feet, chances are pretty good that your knees come together when you do it. And when you're walking, your knees come together. When you're standing, your knees come together. So we're just working on trying to teach our feet that they can move in these different directions. So now I'm alternating, going out into supination, coming in into pronation. But since I don't want my knees to move, you can just look at them and see if they're staying put. You can also bring your hands to the outside of your legs and try to keep the pressure in the outside of your legs the whole time. I find that one works pretty well for me. You could also come to the inside and make sure you're not squeezing your hands in towards each other more. And you see my motion here is very small. Some people can have a lot of mobility in their ankles. This one, my good side, my not MS side, actually moves too much because it's always trying to make up for this ankle that does not move enough. So I always say, you can't really just work the bad side, because usually the good side is more problematic because it's been trying to adjust for that bad side kind of for a long time. Okay, now we're going to do a little ankle circle. We're just going to do one at a time. So let your right heel lift up a little bit, and then you're going to kind of dump more into the, dump is not the word, you're going to put the pressure more into the inside of your right foot, and then you're going to lower your heel down like about halfway, and then move your entire foot to the outside and lift it up. And this would be slightly different than trying to keep your toes pressing down evenly, because I'm letting my foot, the whole foot kind of roll, and then a little bit of ankle movement and the whole foot kind of roll. And it's really hard to do without having your knee move. So I'm really thinking about it. I'm thinking about it and not able to talk. And then we'll go the opposite direction. So we're going out and down, around, and in. Out, down, around, and in. I always think any exercise that's just a foot ankle exercise to me is way harder than pretty much anything. And then go ahead and we'll lower down on that side, and then we'll try the other side. So remember, we're holding onto the knee, just so we're trying to think that the knee is not creating more pressure in our hand from the left to the right, so we know that we're moving our foot. So I'm going to let my foot roll out a little bit, the whole foot, let the ankle lower down a little bit, let the ankle roll in a little bit, but have the whole foot roll in and lift up. And then I reverse the direction. And your knee is going to lower down and up a little bit, but we're trying not to let the knee collapse in or out. And I promise you, I don't care if you have, if you're Simone Biles would probably also find this exercise challenging. This is not easy for anybody, regardless of whether you have any kind of neurological condition or not. I'm going to go ahead and let that ankle lower down. And then I'm just going to go for a little alternating heel lift. And then I want to keep the pressure kind of even, where I feel the inside of my foot under my big toe about the same as I feel my pinky toe when I'm lifting up. Now I'm again starting to get that little shake in my left ankle calf, because that is my side that has spasticity. So I'm just propping it up with the sock so that my range of motion is less. So I'm not putting my heel down as far. And that usually fixes me right up. That's also something to think about just when you're doing other exercises. Like if your calf really starts shaking, limiting how much your calf can lower down. And then you can progressively, like I have 2 socks under there. I could see if I only have 1 sock and my socks are kind of balled up, then I can still do it with 1 sock, but the no socks, it was like my clonus was acting up, and if it acts up, it's very distracting. And so I prefer not to let it do that.